Well, let me show you my tomatoes. I tell you what, let me just show you the best ones first, and then we'll go down the line and I'll show you a terrible mistake I made and how the rest of them are doing. These are red snapper tomatoes. I don't think I've ever seen them anywhere except Haas Tools. So I know you can get them there, the seed there, but I'll take you inside in a minute and show you some. I think that's the biggest red snappers I've ever grown. I've grown them this is my third year, I think, to grow them. And I believe this year, I've got some big, I've got in the house a couple of them bigger than that. But I believe this year is the best red snapper crop I've had. Now let me tell you what was happening at first though. Let me go ahead and put this over here in the golf cart. Get it in the shade a little bit. My first probably 20 tomatoes off each one of these. It did not matter variety except for the cherry tomatoes. They never got it, but I had blossom end rot everywhere. I mean, you can see just the remnants of tomatoes laying on the ground because I would just pick them up and chunk them on the ground. I mean, I had blossom end rot on the first probably 20 tomatoes I've got off all these earth boxes. And I had put, you're gonna say, what's a calcium deficiency? Well, I know it is, but I put calcium nitrate, I believe it's calcium nitrate, in the hole when I planted it, along with some Epsom salt, along with the fertilizer and the lime that Earthbox recommends. And I still had it. And I even added some calcium nitrate to the downspouts, to the water, the water reservoir, because it's water soluble. But I still just don't understand why I had that many with blossom end rot. But it was just the early tomatoes, because since then they don't have any blossom end rot at all. So let me just show you again. This is the first two earth boxes here. This earth box and this one are the red snappers, and they're just beautiful. They're just, I try to pick them when they're orange or yellow, simply so the birds don't get them. Got a few bugs on them, so got a few places you can see are bug sucked. I hadn't sprayed them, and I need to. I got some Bug Buster Zero, which is an organic bug buster. And I need to spray everything. I need to spray the berries. I need to spray everything. But that's the red snapper. So I have the last 2 years I have definitely recommended the red snapper to you, and this year they've done even better. So man, I don't know. I love the red snappers. So go to Haas Tools and look and see. They may not have any more seed. If you're in the south, you can get another crop in before, you know, and get you some fall tomatoes. I don't know. This is a red snapper too. This one doesn't have quite it. Well, I don't know. There's some big ones down there that are still green, but this one's got, I bet this has got 20 tomatoes on it easily. And got a few that are red, but not many. Some of those are small, and some of these are small. I'm not saying all of them are that big. That one right there is fixing to get ripe, and it's a little smaller than a baseball, I would guess. So red snapper. This is Celebrity. I've never been a big fan of Celebrity, simply because they just I don't know, just don't have a lot of taste. To me, don't have a lot of taste. I'm getting blooms, but we are hot. And I know you think maybe I'm not watering these, or they got some kind of wilt or something. It's just hot, man. It's last 2 or 3 days, it's been right at or over 100 degrees. And it just hit all of a sudden. We had 75, 80 degree days and some rain and stuff, and it went straight to 100. And so that helped wilt these somewhat. I came out here ready to tell you all about how my problem with this earth box. I put a plant in it, showed it to you in one of the videos. Put a plant in it and it just didn't do well. I came out here to tell you that I was all prepared next year to dump this soil out because I got some kind of verticillium or wilt or some kind of wilt in it, some kind of something in it, and I was just all about this earth box being diseased until I found something. I've got my drip system, and those are 2 gallon an hour drippers. So I've got one in each one of these earth boxes. Each earth box for every hour I run the system should get, assuming the emitters are producing exactly 2 gallons, should get 2 gallons of water. It takes about 2.5 to 3 gallons to fill it up, so I usually run about 90 minutes. And again, I came out here ready to tell you that I had issues with this soil and I was going to have to get rid of it. Until I turned on the water and I said, well, let me just check something. I ain't got nothing coming out. So my bad for not checking the emitters. This one got stopped up and killed 2 tomato plants. So there's nothing wrong with that soil. It's just, it's my bad. It's my fault. I try to check these once a week and I just did not check it. Well, with it this hot, these things, if you don't put any water in it, it can get dry in a hurry. And a week is a long time to go without water in a container. So this is my pink brandywine. All of these, you know, they don't look great, but they're producing like crazy. I picked a few of these pink brandywine that were bigger than my biggest red snapper, but I expect that. Brandywine gets big. But anyway, these have done well, giving me, I don't know, 8 or 10. I've got several back in there that are getting close. That one's going to be a big one right there. That one's even bigger right there. I've got one that's turning pink back in there, not quite as big. And then these are my cherry tomatoes. I had somebody come yesterday and pick blackberries, and I told them to come over here and just take all the cherry tomatoes they wanted, and they just didn't even put a dent on them. These things are just gone crazy. One of them is a Sun Gold and a Sun Sugar. And they have done real well. I've got to pick them or they're just going to stop producing if I don't hurry up and pick some of them. There's another brandywine right there. Nice one. And then this tomato here is that HR 1823, I think they call it, something like that. And this is what my neighbor gave me to replace that one in this one that died, the first one that died. This one did well because, hey, guess what? I'm giving it water. Look at that, it's actually getting water. We're going to the house right now and I'll show you what I've got laid out in the house. Most all of them are the red snapper, that's what this is. Okay, so we're in the house right now. Lighting's not quite as good, but these are all red snappers I've got laid out for you here. And that one there is probably the biggest. That is just a huge, that's about as like a brandywine gets. I haven't weighed it, don't know it, but it's, I would say well over a pound. And that's just a nice, well-formed tomato. Again, some of these are bug sucked. You can see the little patterns in them that indicative of insect damage. And some of them maybe had a bird peck in it, probably. But we'll cut that out and freeze it. But I just want those are just beautiful. And I've got some brandywines in the refrigerator. I won't show you, but they're nice. I got some nice brandywine. Some of you have told me that you really like the Cherokee Purple, and others have mentioned their favorite tomatoes. As far as give me 2 of your favorite tomatoes, most productive and best tasting. For me, most productive is going to be and this is the 3 years that I've been raising them, and all 3 years have been either in earth boxes or in wicking tubs, but for sure containers all 3 years. But my most productive tomatoes, as far as nice, big, juicy, and tasty, the red snapper also has a good taste. My most productive tomato is going to be a red snapper. My best tasting tomato is going to be, for me, it's going to be the pink brandywine. I've never tried a Cherokee Purple. I think I tried to grow them one time and they just didn't make, or something happened. But the Red Snapper has a lot of the newest traits. It's a hybrid, and it's got the Vercillium wilt. It's resistant to a lot of wilts and funguses and things like that, disease. So it's just much easier to grow than an heirloom tomato. They just, heirlooms are good, don't get me wrong. They're the best tasting tomato. But I've just found here in the South, in the humid and all the funk that we have to live with here, that it's just tough to grow a tomato that doesn't have some disease-resistant bred into it through the hybridization program. But I want to show you these, and if this heat keeps up, these may be some of my last ones. I don't know. All right, that is my tomatoes for this year, and we'll continue to get some more, especially if it cools off a little bit. Then those plants will start looking a little better. Maybe I can get some clones going where I can have some fall tomatoes. They've got some down at the feed store. They got some plants down at the feed store, but they're about $3 or $4, $5 a piece, and I just can't pay that. That's just ridiculous. Hope yours are good. Let me know how yours are doing. All right, we're gone.